no, kind of want to do a little bit there. And like, I can stay up a little bit. I mean, it's like the 2 in the morning. I can do it. Uh, and it just compounded itself. And then by the time I looked up, it's like, oh, it's 3:15 in the morning. Gotta get to sleep. Yeah. But now it's the after effect of kind of
You
seeing
look
what the
fresh
reaction is
though.
and then putting a structure around it. Yeah. Because I just put it on LinkedIn. So it's going to go on other platforms in a little bit, but I have to figure out now, okay, if I'm going to do something in mid-August before GBDS, I need to kind of have a plan in place. And I have a loose plan, but now I kind of figured there was going to be a reaction one way or another. It's kind of pairing the people that did the dash and then also with the audience that's interested in doing it and seeing where there's kind of a mix between the two while I'm doing the mastery course.
Yeah.
I
I think that
wanted to get my sleep deprivation in early, I think was the plan.
I
What I
actually
wanted to
forgot
do.
what I signed up for, to be honest, because I signed up like a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember I filled out a survey and you asked me quite a few of questions, but I forgot what I answered.
Yeah. I don't remember either, but you're going to find out on Friday.
Yeah.
The good thing is that after this update, anyone who doesn't respond, I'm just going to cull them from the list and assume that they're just not interested, so that any of the communications going forward, I'm not going to pepper them with stuff. Usually, if between LinkedIn and direct email, if they're not responding, they have other things that are preoccupying their time, so I'm going to leave them be. And I've got what, 5 now? It's going to be about 7 teams when it's all said and done. So yeah, I'll be plenty busy with getting everyone up to speed, because the idea is that for the next 2 months, I'm giving people some things to shoot for that only take 5 to 10 hours per week of when they want to put time in. So it's going to be very slow. It's like a slow cooker process, but it's going to keep everyone dedicated on something they can do on the side that kind of moves the needle forward for them. That's the idea.
Such the million things that we all do on the side.
We have about 5 or 6 things on the side. Mine are just a little bit more public, I guess, between podcasting and posting on TikTok, which has been fun.
Yeah, I saw that. Been like doing it every day. Like every day I get a notification. Like, you have a new video. Oh, you have a new video.
Yeah, let's see Robert completely sweat it out in the middle of the night talking about like what did I talk about last night? Like a barn owl about to attack me. And there was something else that happened. I don't remember.
Well, good news is out of all the people I followed, your frequency is the second behind Gary Vee. So
wow. you got some more watching to do on TikTok apparently, or maybe there's just there's not enough tragedy videos of people clashing with each other on the streets in the press.
I think I just don't follow enough people. I can't even anymore because I signed up my account with my Canadian phone number and then I don't have the phone anymore, so I can't even access it anymore. They changed the policy so they cannot I cannot log in with my email or something or Instagram. And now I can't log into my account.
On Instagram, you can't get into it?
I used to log in with my Instagram account, like it was linked, and then they now changed the policy, so I cannot log in with that anymore. And I need to get a PIN from my phone in order for me to change the password for my email login. But
yeah,
I don't have my
about
phone.
it makes me tired. I would no. There's too much friction there. Just like one access. That's it.
Yeah, deal with
it
later.
So now that we're done kind of explaining how I have a gross TikTok account that apparently trends. Hi, everybody, whoever's going to be watching this in the future. I'm watching right now on YouTube and Zoom, which is, I believe, just us. Good. There's no pressure. This is the day the Earth made a workshop. And the whole point of this is that
and
between
it's episode number.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's like I should use sound effects. It's like 3D effect, and then is it 4? 4.
I thought
19, right? We're on 19.
I thought 19, no?
No,
okay,
18,
I'm confused.
Yeah, 18 was yesterday. Yeah, they all blend together, right?
Yeah,
just same
matter.
people, same episodes, talking about stuff. Yeah, that's just us. Yeah. What we're gonna do is both of us are gonna work on the same mural. So I'm going to start sharing my screen a little bit, and we're going to basically construct a mural in less than 60 minutes. Construct a mural, I mean construct a workshop based on our own collective experience about what works and what doesn't. Mine is going to be from the approach of that you have people to help you with. If this is completely solo and you're doing it on your own, then we can also account for that when we're kind of constructing this. So this is meant to be fun. This is not meant to be something that you take, watch the episode and try to construct a workshop in like 2 hours time and put this in front of a board of directors.
Hey, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, okay, maybe somebody, they may go in that direction. That's true. But we're just gonna have fun with this a bit and kind of work out the same mural and see where it goes. That's pretty much the idea.
Yes.
Okay, so all fun for everyone else.
Let's do it.
Right. You are currently in the mural now, correct, Sandy?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have facilitation right, but I don't think that makes any difference.
I think I can give you facilitation rights from where I am now. They think they changed it in mural. Yeah. You can edit, but I don't know if there's facilitation rights. Let me actually change this around so you do. You're a mural member. You have editing rights. You can facilitate. Hey,
Yay!
How about that? I think all you need to do is just refresh and then you're good.
No, it already shows me.
Oh, okay, just did it instantaneously.
Yep.
All right. So let's get this show on the road, and I will share my screen and go into this. Okie dokie. So as you can see, we spent a lot of time so far on the mural, putting a lot of dedicated, we met yesterday, not really, and kind of going through, and we had this really elaborate designed mural, and then I deleted it, and I thought we needed to start over because, we needed to have it as real as possible rather than kind of predetermined or pre-designed. So what we're going to do here is basically structure out a general workshop where you can basically use this framework to kind of do whatever you need to do in terms of.
Oh, time's up.
Oh, we're done. All right. Bye, Sandy. See you later. Okay. So let's see here. Let's kind of give ourselves a structure. So I'm gonna just put a couple of cards down first, just to give a note. So generally, with every workshop, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, right? Usually it's that. Then even before that, there is a state where it's like preparation, right? And then at the end is follow-up. So those are like the 5 states we're working with, these 5.
Yes.
I drew something in 20 minutes, and this is what I drew.
Uh-oh. We have a break from the field. This is what my son drew. What is that?
It's supposed to be a coffee mug.
Cup. Yeah, it's a cup.
The rainbow?
Yeah, but they haven't finished it.
Like
Are you gonna finish it in the next 10 minutes?
Huh?
You can give everybody an update when you get done with it.
No, I'm gonna do screen.
Okay, but you can't do screen here. You got to do screen in the other room. Because I know how much you like to listen to music when you game.
Hey, I don't like to. I'll mute my thing.
Okay. Do you want to use your headphones?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Or maybe your AirPods.
You could, but I don't think they're hooked up. They don't hook up to the computer that well. So just use this until it gets too sweaty. Pardon me, Sandy. I have to take care of
No worries.
the president here. So hang on.
Hey, I'm not a president.
You're not the president?
No.
Okay. I got that wrong. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is not.
Donald Trump is not the president?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Let's do it. Okay. Donald Trump is wired in back here. And
Hey.
okay. So this is pretty much the skeleton for everything.
What skeleton?
A skeleton for preparing for a workshop. And that made him run. Okay, so how about this? Let's go back and forth and we can basically put something in here that makes sense for us. So I'll start with preparation. So one of the first things that you should probably do in terms of preparation is get the 50,000 mile view, kind of what we're doing now. This is essential from the perspective of being able to understand a few things. The first is the level of effort that you're going to be going into, who can help you. Because normally it's something that you shouldn't do alone. If there's something you can partner with, then that's even perfect. If you can get that. And then I'll do one more. The other thing is to figure out what resources you have available to you. But sometimes when you do workshops, the assumption is that you're going to have everything in place. And by resources, I mean things like reserved space, whether it's online or offline, software, access.
And if it's offline, I mean, if it's in person, snacks are also very important.
Offline scheduling, etc. So that's what I would say. The first thing is that the 50,000 mile view for your preparation. I'll give this a different color and make it orange, right? And I'll put preparation over here a little bit so that we're kind of stacking things. All right, Sandy, it's your turn. What would you like to tackle on all of this? What would you like to add to?
On the preparation?
On anything, really. We can start in preparation. What would be something else you'd like to add to that?
Oh, I would. Like I said, if it's some kind of online workshop, I mean offline workshop, it's always good to have some kind of snacks. I think that's the first thing that excites people. And I would also think about what is the timeline, or actually how much time we are allocated for this kind of workshop. I found that a lot of workshops is not really like we need how much things to be done, then we get the time. Is a little bit more the reverse way. I mean, depends on how you're doing it. But if you're working for a client or something, most of the time they will tell you, I have only 1 day or 2 days. That's the maximum that we can give you, and you need to bring us to a certain goal in this time frame. So I think, yeah, just have to think a little bit more about the time. Scheduling you already have. What else? Preparation. I think also understand the problem. It's quite important. So I would say like talk with the stakeholders, understand who actually needs to be involved, and who are the most difficult people in the room or in the workshop. Figure those things out. I think quite would help a lot. That's the wrong logo there. I meant to say just talk. Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe that can be something I was going to bring up as expectations. So there's expectations around a lot of different things related to what you're doing. So it could be the outcomes. Keyboard just done? Or didn't? Hang on. Oh, that's weird. Mural just. Do you see what's happening?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
cool. Wow. Well, Turbo comes with a price then. That was really for this. Outcomes. Yeah. All right. Oh, I still can't select it. All right, I gotta reset. That's so weird. That's the funny thing is, oh, now it's only UT. Yeah. So turbo mode in Mural has been interesting because it does these weird little glitches where I start typing and then there's fragments that happen to the right of my typing for no apparent reason. So I think they're still working out the bugs in private, but it's kind of funny to see how the glitches come through. So there's outcomes, people at the table, like to what you were talking about. You also have our outcomes is a big thing. People at the table, the other expectations I usually encounter with this. Your time is another, like how much time you're going to be basically dedicating, and your role. Because some people want you to not be the facilitator. They may want you to be a co-facilitator with somebody who's leading things on the side. So it's good to understand how you're going to be functioning within the workshop itself, especially if you're on the outside in the client engagement. So what exactly is your role going to be? Is it facilitating, co-facilitating? Are you also going to act as the researcher? Are you going to be the user interviewer? because sometimes the implication is that you're going to handle everything when it comes to something
Yeah,
like
definitely.
and you got to kind of probably clarify that. So that would be something else that comes into play with preparation. So
I think expectation is super important in preparation because it sets the whole tone of your workshop. And I think maybe we can also add to that expectation, like the style of the workshop. I don't know how to describe it, but like more like some workshops is very outcome driven. Some workshops are more trying to understand each other and listen, more passive in a way. So I think trying to understand, I don't know if it's the right word of like calling this style of the workshop, but yeah, trying to understand what that tone is for that that workshop.
Yeah. I think one other thing to put here before moving to the next one is self, which gets overlooked because you're always considering the work that needs to be involved. And by self means that you get, and this is not what people do sometimes, get plenty of sleep. You run through the material. You over communicate. So you kind of make sure that people understand what's going on and with what you're doing. This will depend highly on the client or who you're. I can't even spell. So isn't it ironic that I'm spelling over communicate? I can't even spell communicate. Wrong thing. I'm losing it. Communicate. Okay. Maybe that's probably on expectations over here. That's probably better over here. But run through the material.
Yeah, and another thing, I don't know where it can fit, but one thing that we often forget is the language, because typically when you go into a workshop, you will get the group of people who speak at least a common language in a way. But having said that, still some of them may not be, that common language may not be the person's first language. So you kind of have to understand the different ways that they may speak. And even if it's, for example, even if it's English, it can mean different meaning in different regions. So that has to be also considered.
So by understanding languages and business nomenclature, basically being able to understand who's at the table and what they speak, especially if you have to do dual language kind of engagements. The other thing I was going to put here for yourself is like work with a coach. I found this to be something that's very that not many people do, but it really helps for somebody who's a senior to you to kind of help you walk through the material and kind of go through things. It's kind of like a level check to make sure that you're in the right place.
Like a coach to help you with planning the workshop, you mean?
Yeah, or somebody that's been through it before, like to just have them like, like look over what you're doing, give advice. I do a lot of that. That's why I put that there. So that there's people that are kind of preparing for their first design sprint or the virtual design sprint. And they say, can you just take a quick look at this and tell me what you think? So I'll say, sure. It takes like 10 minutes really, because you're just scanning for things like grammatical errors, what I tend to do, or the flow of things, or things that for somebody that's not involved with it, if something isn't clear, and trying to figure out if what my understanding matches what they want to convey, because the big thing is trying to make sure that what you're doing is understandable. And probably there's other things here that go along with, but those are like the bigger ones that I see is like take a large view, make sure you're in the right place, and that you understand what's expected of you. Is there anything else we should add here, Sandy?
No, I think, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with beginning, middle, and end. Do you see the kind of like the way the workshop ends in this fashion, or should this be recast in some way? Are you fine with beginning, middle, and end?
Yeah, I think so. I will actually use the word check-in. I don't know if it meant the same thing that you were thinking of.
Yeah, just go ahead and put check in there. That'll work. I can do it. let's do checking in. And then maybe middle is doing the workshop.
Yeah.
And then end is wrapping up.
Yeah.
Good?
Good.
Okay. Checking in could also be like level setting or sync, or just maybe checking in, and yeah, you can do it that way.
Yeah.
So I have a few for
And
both, for at least the very beginning. So what were you going to say?
and perhaps like I think because we changed the word to check-in, I was just thinking like actually during the workshop we would also do mini check-ins.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
So there can be things like what are those? Not stand-ups, but they're like check-in, sync meeting, sync sessions, where basically you go over review the work so far, answer questions, and gain understanding, or answer questions, guide, set expectations on the activities you're going to do for the day.
Mm-hmm.
For the day. What to do when X, meaning that if you have to go to the bathroom, if you have to basically take a phone call, like what are the norms? Like basically reintroduce norms, because sometimes it's good to see, you can put them on a slide or put them on like just a sheet, but I always found that at the beginning it's just basically, okay, level set, just to remind everyone that this is the agreed upon set of things we're doing for the day, kind of have that structure for people to kind of work within. So part of the checking in also is kind of like ever since we did it, it's like the team canvas is being able to understand like the goals and the norms.
Yeah.
And like both goals are both like personal and group goals, if I recall. Then there's the norms. There's expectations. I'm riffing here because I know I've done two different ones. But the team canvas seems to be a good way of kind of getting everybody level set and what they're there for and what they're supposed to do. Another thing that happens in the check-in is to a tech check. Do they have the right software? Do they understand how to use it? And how tech savvy they are. One other thing is keeping track of time. Now this can be somebody. Go ahead.
And also understand their expectation.
The expectations and outcomes of the workshop. Okay. This keeping track of time can be another person. In fact, it's better if you do assign somebody to kind of do that. Typically, if you don't, then you'll be so into the moment of kind of handling the things that happen here and there, like just questions, guiding through people. And then occasionally you look up at your computer at the wall and you go, ooh, we got 5 minutes left. And then everybody feels like there's a mad scramble to kind of get through the gate. I think another thing that's really good to do and flex on expectations is to also flexibility. So this is really a stylistic choice, but you have to you should communicate how flexible you are with the process that you're going to be doing, because some people just tend to say, okay, we have like I've seen these really strange kind of agendas that have 5-10 minute brackets. Like in 5 minutes we're going to do this, 10 minutes we're going to do this, 5 minutes we're going to do this, 10 minutes. It's totally unrealistic, because if one of those particular things blows out to 30 minutes because someone doesn't understand, then your whole plan is shot. So I think it's good to figure out as a facilitator how flexible you are with things.
Yeah, I like to always have an agenda, but I don't like to publish that. Like, I would give like a really, really high level of the activities or the things that we will do. Actually, most important for the team to know is when is the break, when is the lunchtime, and so on. They really only care about those. That's what I found most of the time. How like how we are going to do the activities, they don't really care in a way. Not that they completely don't care, but it's just more that they would care when it comes to them. So for me, I normally like to just give a really high level, like a heading, like a bracket, like between this time, we will do activity 1, 2, 3, or something like that, but not so detailed. I will have one detail myself, just so that I can keep track of the time and make sure things are moving the way that it should be, but not publishing it so that it allows me to have the flexibility to change whenever I need to.
You have the option of doing it. So you have the day's agenda, but at least if your day is going really fast, then you can certainly like start. You can change the way things go. But chances are there could be someone else that likes to take things slower, or that you have a real talkative person in your workshop that's going to expand out everything. And what's really interesting for those situations is how people take it. Like, do they panic, or do they kind of just stay calm and know that, okay, just let everyone level set. It's like, well, now we're here. And it's funny, sometimes when you say those things, everyone knows it's that 1 or 2 people that are just going at it that are causing the entire workshop to kind of go, and then everyone has to kind of deal with that. But
Yeah.
that's just the whole thing about being a facilitator, is being able to navigate that between 1 or 2 individuals and say, okay, just set expectations. We're here and we have this much to go. So we could go extend out, or we can basically take a few things out and then move on and can still keep with the schedule, knowing that we have to kind of be mindful of it. You know, nudge people without like actually pointing fingers, which is the important thing.
Yeah. We have a visitor here.
Oh, Ryan Demet says it's all about the snacks and the food game. That's true, but in the absence of doing it in person, then maybe the check-in is also like recommended snacks. And I'm going to have to pause my share and give credit.
I actually found the food is so easy to make people connect. I had experience where like the whole group was just like, they didn't really engage. And then during the lunchtime, I just told them, take a picture of your food before you eat it and then post it on the mural. Like, I'm talking about virtual workshop. And then like that changed the whole, the dynamic of the people. Like, it suddenly people are actually writing things down. Like, I also asked them like put sticky notes to guess what the food is about like who the picture they post, what the food the ingredients in the food and stuff like that. And then the whole time people were not really engaged to post anything. But when we talk about food, suddenly people will start like writing down, oh, this has tomato, this has fish, and so on. So it was quite funny to see like food always connect with people.
Yeah, it's either food or vacation. It's one of the two, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I wish I was on the thing that happened in the last GVDS is that people wanted to eat sushi on the beach next to a mountain, right? That was the thing I kept on hearing. So maybe one of these things that during the workshop, it's just vital, are icebreakers and fun activity, like breaks or fun, what do you call them? Fun activities, or
I call them energizer. Those are the two little gifts that I have here.
Yeah.
Kind of represent that.
It's paying attention. Should we give him access to this so he could just kind of play around with us? If you have all the attendees in the US or a specific region, you can even send them a care package at a time. That would take some coordination. That would, especially what if you're like a sausage guy? Are you going to send like, they send sausage in bulks, like everyone have like sausage and cheese and crackers for snacks. We do it that way.
Yeah, but remember there was this company, right? It was called Pizza, whatever. I'm pasting a link, Pizza Time.
Yeah.
Like they actually, you can order pizza and then they arrange the whole
delivery
around the whole world for you.
Ryan, if you want in here, then let us know. We'll just bring you on the panel side and you can discuss this with us, because we're just kind of building stuff out. We're making the most amazing workshop sync that ever was. So Energizers and breakers could be like, they could be themed. So it could be things like food or vacation or superpowers, another one that was really popular. Like trying to think of some other ones, like travel's another, and things like that. Another can be another icebreaker that I've seen is the one that Andy has done that we really like, where it's
I love
using
that one.
the platform as a vehicle to learn and play. So it could be, what is it? What's the formal name of it? Do you remember?
Marching band.
Marching band? Yeah.
Yeah.
Matching band. No, it's
Hey,
marching.
Ryan said yes, so let's bring him in here.
All right. Fine, sir. You are coming over. You made part of history. All right. You should be popping up any minute now.
Yeah. See him.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Ooh.
how's it going, sir?
Good. It's going good. It's going good.
How is the weather down there in South Africa? No, are you still in South Africa?
Yes, I'm still here. Due to this terrible sickness that has taken over the world in this trying time, I'm confined to my house. Yeah, it's very tricky to explain to folks that have lived in the Northern Hemisphere our winter. It's winter right now, so it's always the opposite. But it's today as an example, you won't understand this, Sandy will, but it was 8 and 20 degrees Celsius today. But we don't have heating in our homes, and my office is on the wrong side of the house. So I only get morning sun until like 10:30, and then my office becomes in fridge. So it's a bit colder, so I'm layered up wearing, you would never wear a jacket inside. You could wear shorts and a t-shirt year round, but not so cute this side to try that. So, but other than that, going well. Surviving, everybody's healthy, families safe and sound, and just continuing the hustle like
So
everybody
basically,
else.
I'm Ryan. I imagine that you have like on the back of your chair, you have a parka. So literally, it's like the people can tell the time of day when you just basically flip that thing over because it's really cold, and that's the way they can visually figure out what the entire weather seems like.
Yeah, I have really bad lighting. I was looking at Sandy's video earlier with envy, with the amount of natural light that she gets. Where I don't know where Sandy is at the moment. I can't keep track of Sandy.
She's in a place she wants to get out of, but that's good. That's neither here or there. She's yeah. There is natural sunlight that's coming in. So.
Yes.
But yeah, it's yeah. But other than that, just keeping on. It's quite a perhaps just to jump back into the main topic and get the limelight off of me slightly. It's quite a I think for a lot of people, remote work has become the norm, and people have had to adapt to it. And it is so strange. I'm on the inside of the bottle looking out at everybody else inside of the jar. My wife, who's actually in the next room, she works at an open distance university, and they've had to all go remote. So we're all in a big building, and then all their students were displaced everywhere else. But how they've had to adapt very formal corporate academia processes and workshops into a running Microsoft Teams workshops and making decisions on like council calls, and it's been fascinating to see the development of them going towards what one would deem a digital transformation. I mean, my wife came to me earlier. They're doing a module development about like digital transformation tools and how people manage with tools and how people make decisions. Because for them, you know, you book a boardroom, you get the people in the room, and you fight it out with an agenda, and you vote like in a court. That's how decisions are made. And moving to a virtual environment is quite different for them. And of course, you know, if you've done virtual sprints or virtual workshops, you've suddenly become the expert, which is quite interesting in itself, in sort of taking the other role of like being, you know, you were this person that was pioneering, you know, on sort of the bleeding edge of digital transformations with, you know, even if somebody was down the neighborhood, you were like, but I'm comfortably, I've got my whiteboard and my setups and everything is cool where I'm at, to not wanting to travel to get that, because you know you can get the work done sort of not bound by location.
Yeah.
Just an interesting construct and things of how the world has had to change into looking at this. And I know that we're in a bubble, certainly, that we know about the tools. We're very informed with you know, tech that you can leverage and energizers that you can use for digital purposes, and you know, all the bells and whistles. And you know, people still ask, I notice this every now and again when we get inbound queries of like, we've had to go remote, do you have resources and do you have tools to run online workshops? I've known of them for many years, but people are just discovering digital things apart from Skype. That was the only thing. You know, people were just talking and seeing each other, not even sharing screens per se. But people are now pitching in it, making decisions in it. You chat to your parents and you show them what's happening, and how very quickly it's caused an acceleration to people depending on you know, digital tools and want to know how things have worked. And as you know, tools like Mural and Mura have had to absolutely scale so quickly to keep up with the demand of people now saying, shucks, we need a tool and we need resources. How do you run, like a simple example was like, how do you run the food? How do you run breaks? How do you onboard people to these tools very quickly that are sort of scared of tech and scared of what's actually going on? They've never, you have this like anxiety to like not do it.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to be an optimization like everything else for what's currently on. So right now we're in a feeling out pattern where people are trying these tools out. They're trying Mural, Miro, Zoom, WebEx, Google, and they're trying all these things new, and they're still using what they're used to, like, you know, PowerPoint or like slides or something that's convenient for them because it's something they already do. I almost think that there's going to be optimization where this video calling that we're doing right now, because it's purposeful for the show, we're doing it like through YouTube and other things. But I think there's going to be a comeback for just using voice-only communication and a whiteboard, where really all you need to hear is the person's voice to kind of correspond to what you're doing on the screen. Most of the time, like when you're doing virtual sprints, there's that initial kind of video where people are kind of saying, okay, you're a real person on that side. But then you completely ignore the video for the most part, and you go straight into the work that you're going to be doing and concentrating on either doing a note and vote or sketching or considering what somebody else has done. But I almost think that that's going to, this whole video aspect of things is going to basically take it's going to be when it makes sense to do so. One of the things I rally against is this whole thing called camera on. You always have to have your camera on when you're in a workshop, and I think that's so misguided, because there's so many instances that I've had where people cannot have their camera on for one reason or another. Like, for instance, right now, Ryan's not using a camera as far as I can tell, and that's not a big deal because I can still hear him. Other people that have medical conditions where they're going back and forth in the screen, and they don't want that distraction to happen to everybody else that's at the call and trying to get their work done. So I sense that eventually there's going to be where it is part of setting up this kind of engagement. It's going to be right off the bat, like we were talking about, like the checking in and setting expectations. Is like there's going to be certain times where there's going to be camera on, where it's encouraged, where we have to have discussions like this, or it's camera off, where we're strictly concentrating on the work that's being done on the screen and almost doing a teleconference kind of thing. But I think that that's going to be more distinct and going forward in terms of how people engage in that medium and what makes sense to do so.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just don't have it on because my lighting is absolutely shocking at night. So it's not. but
No,
but you
whatever
make
the
a
reason,
valid.
I'm saying that that'll
You,
be something that comes as a consideration. It's like this is
yeah, I
what's
mean, but I 100% agree with you. I mean, we aren't as fancy as Sandy. I mean, just look at like I'm just like I'm looking at his picture all the time. I was just like, literally YouTube star, like. But it's absolutely the case, you know, that you have people that have conditions. I have my children, like up until Monday, both my children were at home for like the whole day. So it's chaos. So I'm like, I'm there, then I'm not there. I'm half in the workshop. You know, folks have privacy concerns as well. Some people don't want to show their homes off. Some people are not as open to that. And that is something that people need to also, you know, get. You know, privacy is a big thing for a lot of people, and I tend to agree with you. You know, you need a guide and a facilitation tool, a mural, even a PowerPoint that you share, a Google slide doc, an agenda that you run, and you can actually get effective work done that way. So I definitely think that absolutely, like that's going to be happening. Especially, I mean, not a lot of businesses were geared for, unless you were, you know, one of the pioneers, nobody had gear for this either. Some people had, you know, just corporate issued tech that isn't geared for loads of video calls. And like, it's not like the video quality is not great anyway. So you may as well just use the tools that you've got to get it. Sandy, what is your experience and what is your thinking around
Yeah,
like where things are going?
I think I agree and disagree in a way, because I do understand like a lot of times when we are actually in a workshop and doing note taking and stuff, we don't really concentrate on the camera. But I do feel that's like when we have our camera on, we can connect with each other much easier, and watching the body language and the expression and so on. One of the times that I feel like camera is very useful is that when you have a very not engaged group, and when you ask a question or if you ask for opinions, like they are not speaking, and you don't even know if they are there, like you have no idea. It's just that they like, you just simply don't know what is going on at all when it comes to the silence. But having the camera on, you can start seeing, okay, the expression from them. Maybe this person is a little bit confused, and then you can ask him, oh, can I help you? Or I don't know, just at least knowing that they are there. And then you can, at least for me, I feel like much easier to find ways to engage them back when I see them. But
that, you know, being
depends on
able
the
to see
workshop,
that
maybe.
the temperature in body language is a very valid point. I tend to, you have swayed me like in that temperature. It's one thing that is help, you know, visual feedback, and that's the same thing that attracts people to wanting to do in-person training, or you know, in-person events or an in-person sprint, or favor it over that. I think people are you know, we are you know, you want to connect with somebody, you want to be able to see the expressive nature of like it's going well or it's not. But a validation in, and also, as you said, like you as the guide in a workshop and an online, you can see when somebody's struggling and jump in to help them before they throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite important as well. Yeah, I mean, for
like
me,
very often, like especially when you, sorry, I just cut you off.
no, please go, please, Sandy.
Yeah, I was just saying, like especially like during the initial check-in, when you are trying to onboard the people, very often, like you give them the onboarding exercise per se, or icebreakers, whatever, and then you ask them, does anyone have any problems, or if I don't see you actually participating, you will actually never get an answer saying I have a problem. Well, not never, but most of the time they will just be silence. but then they don't actually react to the exercise itself. But then you can see in their emotions or their face, like, okay, this person actually have problem. That's why like, you can see them, they're looking on the screen and they're like trying to move things around that they couldn't. And then very quickly you can see that, okay, this person actually has problems. He is not speaking up. I found like actually it's quite important to have, maybe not the whole time is important, but I feel like there will be a lack of engagement if the whole workshop, let's say like a 5-day design sprint, that the whole time is camera off.
Yeah, I think you make a very important point, Sandy, and just, you know, being able to, you know, solve for somebody that's not engaged. I think what in design sprint specifically, and this can be applied through workshops as well. You know, the great thing about it is getting a collective, you know, the collective of ideas forward. And if you can help somebody that doesn't lose hope, you know, you feel hopeless if you're struggling, especially if it's a new environment, you've never done this. You're like, I'm making a fool out of myself. I can't participate. I can't get my ideas forward. And if you can actually, dare I say, rescue them from, you know, the distress that they're in, you can get them to participate, and you may get to a better product at the end of the day, because you know, it's in, otherwise you only get the confident people's ideas to the fore. You're not getting, you know, the person that feels threatened by technology or by, you know, just, you're not getting the ideas forward. And I think that is a definite positive of it. I also, I've been thinking a lot, is there a specific theme? Sorry, I don't want to jump on a tangent. There's like lots of things in my mind at the moment.
Go ahead.
Robert?
Okay, I think.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm kind of getting
Okay.
scared while you're talking.
Am I like white noise? White noise to you? It's like this productive sound, just like drumming voice that just like, you can just like, the work just keeps happening. Just like your muse, you can just put me on repeat. I can just talk, and then the work just magically happens. I listened to, so one of my like internet muses, for the moment at least, is Ryan Singer from Basecamp, and he's got a podcast called A Priori, I think, and in his latest episode, he actually speaks about, and I share this internally at the company, speaks about creating or innovating in the confines of the walls of space and time. So in a defined space within a specific time, and getting results out of that. So working within constraints, and you know, the ideas that come from that. But in working with a constraint like a digital workshop, or in a confined space, you know, a workshop has it's got a defined starting point and an end point with a result that you move forward from. I think empowering people to be able to create in that also takes practice from them, which is why, you know, warm-up exercises and getting them familiar with everything and feeling confident that they can speak up when they're struggling or not within that period would be really helpful. And I don't know, I haven't quite thought through, like, it gave me so much to think about, you know, personally and professionally, of, you know, creating within confines, and what can be done, and, you know, how to solicit feedback within those, and to do check-ins, or should you not. Just like things that are floating in my brain at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. I like that point that you talked about. Like, it's actually really hard to create like a feeling of safety in a virtual environment. That's how I feel. Like, but at the same time, what I really like about virtual collaboration or virtual meeting is that's like, I really enjoy Zoom because it actually creates everyone equally. like you see the square that we have, like everyone is equal. There's no bigger size or smaller size unless you change to the presentation view, presenter view. That's different. But in the gallery mode, like everyone is equal, and actually it helps to reduce the hierarchy kind of feeling in a meeting, which I really like, and that I feel like sometimes that makes people feel safer to speak up in a way that's yeah, either like asking for help or bring up their own ideas or disagreeing with someone also.
Yeah. Plus, you don't have to smell anybody. That's one of the big pluses.
Yeah, that's what you said before.
Some people just don't have it together for workshops for whatever reason. It's nothing against them, but hygiene's not at the top of the list. They were cursed with halitosis. Maybe they just have this weird shifting thing that kind of distracts you from like what you're concentrating on. Maybe they have a tendency to like constantly like chew with their mouth open during lunch so that you can't really talk to somebody else without hearing this echo that's reverberating all over the room. So, I mean, there are some advantages in that regard, regardless of the actual process, but that's one of the things I think of. I don't have anybody in mind, just one of the things I remember. It's just like, okay, I'm virtual and I can literally just...
You sure you don't have anyone in mind?
Nope. No.
I have never been close to or in a room with Robert Scrove. That's all I will say. The closest I've been to you is Nashville.
Yeah, but hey, there'll be a time, and then your entire expectation maybe will be completely blown out of the water.
There's no ways. Sandy has met me in person, I think more than once actually.
Yeah, I think 2 times. Yeah.
So Sandy has seen the real Ryan. I'm real. I'm not just a face on Zoom.
Well, I know there's enough media of you on the internet to kind of like piece together a profile of what you're all about. So I'm not too worried about that. I mean, you've got Matrix Ryan, you've got like Smiley Ryan, which we put here. Then you have like kind of like Buddy Ryan with other people. So we have enough impressions. Whereas it's always Fat Robert. It's always like this big face in front of it, or it's like no hair Robert versus lots of hair Robert. So.
Yeah, it's
And believe it or not, Robert and I still have not met in person.
Nope. No.
But Robert is. But where, out of interest, Sandy, where are you now?
I'm still in Leipzig, Germany.
Are you in Germany?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
In where? In Leipzig?
Yeah, Leipzig.
Ah, it's so light there. When I looked at the picture, I was like, wow. I was trying to figure out like, no, it's too, no, it can't be that you're in like New Zealand, or that was like my idea. I was like, that looks like morning sun. Like it's hip and happening.
It's actually going down, but I do have a light ring in front of me, a huge one.
Oh, the TikTok ring. Look at you.
Oh yeah.
Fancy. No,
well, in a couple of years' time, you'll be able to tell it's Dallas because the paint will be on fire on the outside of my house. So you'll just see like this kind of like red flame or like things where they're constantly like watering down the houses in the morning. If it gets any hotter here, that is, because we're already bridging like 100 degrees out here.
Yeah. How, when you say hot, what do you mean? Degree wise?
Yeah, in Dallas. Out here in Dallas.
Okay. I'll go and look up your weather and laugh because it gets properly hot. That's the other like I want to quickly. This is for playing, man. It's 36. It's 36 today.
Yeah, it's not
the maximum. It's 38, 39 on Sunday. Sunday is gonna be pretty. Like, you know what I'm seeing a lot of? I'm seeing a lot of people have this thing at the moment. I don't know if have you got a pool, Robert?
No, we don't. We purposely didn't.
You get a stock tank pool. I've seen people build those things out.
They have COVID pools on sale where you can basically get a COVID sale for like pools and they'll install it for free and everything. And I'm like, no.
Oh, look at that. I don't have a pool at my house either. Like,
yeah. Well, someday when this design sprint thing becomes like makes us all millionaires, then we'll have all pools and we'll be totally fine.
Oh, just like have the summer pool, the winter pool, the tub for everything.
We'll just flip the pool whenever we need a new one. Just kind of flip full of water, flip and be like a different or basically like you basically reattach a new one there. Anyway, Ken Soto said to get on with it. We have like a couple minutes and says he's waiting for all the information and the insights that we have here. So beyond us figuring out like what works in terms of like the stuff that we did with the checking and so on, I did write a couple more things down here, which is like exercises and activities, explain the purpose of each, walking through the exercises first, being able to pivot and to go through audibles, especially if you have to change things on the fly for whatever reason, which happens more often than you think, especially when it comes to workshops. Understanding group dynamics during the workshop, make sure you have a back channel for messaging in case there's something going on that you should be aware of, and making sure people know of that. Understanding what conflict resolution is and how you approach conflict resolution is really important. Not just saying, okay, when two people are at fisticuffs online, before they disengage, this is what happens. You kind of need to know how you do conflict resolution. That's really important. And that corresponds to reinforcing rules and norms. In terms of wrapping up, I just put some things here like recorded or integration into what you're going to be doing. So a lot of times there's something that's stated at the beginning that you're going to integrate into Agile, or you're going to be putting into a report or a metric or something. But that's probably where towards the tail end of the workshop, you're going to start working on those things so that there's not this Sunday to Monday kind of like overnight thing that happens. Doing the retrospective with the team, really important to acknowledge people who did a lot of effort and accomplishment. That goes a long way with a lot of people, especially if they're introverted and they don't say much. It really helps to make sure that they understand their accomplishments, or sorry, I lost the train of thought. What they contributed to the team. And next steps, I think is super important is who's taking ownership of the workshop. There's always this instance there when it's like, oh, Friday we're free and we're done with everything. Someone needs to be a point of contact that basically is like knows and can summarize what has happened and kind of take it forward from there. And the follow-up, I was just going to put drinking and celebrating and parades in the streets and everything, so I didn't put much here. But do either of you have any commentary on anything that's I put here, or anything you'd like to add?
Well, my team has been doing, we have been adopting the mood-o-meter. So we do like initial mood check in the beginning, and then we do one in the end, just to as like a retro to wrap up the whole meeting in a way. And then we also added with like a celebration feature that MURAL has. We love that. Is
that Lisa Weinsberger's mood-o-meter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should basically put her name here so people know who she is for reference. Yeah, Lisa Weinsberger. There you go.
Yeah, and the other one that I have seen to close the meeting, which I found very intriguing, is that they would play a music and everyone just kind of silence and enjoy the music and take some deep breath just to close the whole workshop down. I mean, probably you wouldn't want to do it if it's just like, I don't know, 30 minutes kind of workshop, but I think it's great if it's something that has been a workshop that's achieved a lot for multiple days or something. I think it's a great closer.
Something I saw online that you maybe need to do before all the festivities, which made me think in something that we may do in our internal workshops, is I saw this on Twitter, so this is not my thinking. From David Burrell, who says, in meetings with 5 minutes of silent writing time, answer the following questions. What are my top takeaways? What are the next steps? What questions do I still have? And just sort of resisting the urge to move on to the next thing, just to have people take some time to, to write down their thoughts and opinions of the experience they've had. They can keep it to themselves, or they can share it with a facilitator. Just as a point of, a bit of a different take on, or perhaps similar, or could be incorporated with a retrospective of, that you've noted already. But just for somebody to say, let me quickly, Robert, I can share the text with you already.
So is it something that you would do? Are you suggesting it's something that's done during the exercises, or is it something that's done when?
I think before you close. So I think Sandy had a really nice way of, dare I say, landing, landing it, whether, with some festivities with, with song or some, meditation or breathing in and out or celebrations, which you've also cited, and acknowledgements of, effort and impact and accomplishment that people have. So just an idea to say, these are, just for them to sit back and for them in themselves to say, the answer could be, or it could be even linked to achievements. What did I achieve here? That, especially if they're new to virtual things, perhaps they wouldn't be comfortable sharing that, it was their first time and they achieved things they didn't think were possible. Without distractions and the loud and confident person in the room hogging all the space. They had an opportunity for the first time to speak up and have their thoughts and opinions validated and vetted. So just a personal thing for them to tangibly identify with the experience that they've had, and again they can keep just something that they could keep for themselves.
So it's not necessarily public to the group. It's something that they just kind of reference for their own
purposes. They can share it with the facilitator if they want to, if there's some stuff, but just for themselves, it's a reflective Zen, dare I say Zen activity, that you could add. Just an idea, something that's floating in my mind.
No, I like it. I think it's
unshaped idea, to quote Ronzinger.
Well, what I always try to do with the GVDS is try to integrate some of these suggestions that I see from other people, just because I like seeing how, when the rubber hits the road, what actually happens. I tend to throw beautiful disasters in place whenever I try to install something I think would work. So I'm going to refrain from doing that in the future and try to make it more so that's much more community driven than it is me kind of dictating things. Not that it's been a problem. It's just when I went the prototyping route, I kind of thought, oh, here's the solution to making our design sprint prototypes actually into real products. But no, didn't quite work out like that. But it still worked out to a certain extent. Okay, we're at time. I think what I'm showing on the screen that we did like a lot of different stuff here. I'll put this up on YouTube, not YouTube. Where I have it on YouTube, I mean LinkedIn, and kind of share it there. And yeah. I think this is pretty good, at least for like a starter. I think we probably reasonably could have done another hour and kind of getting with this, but I have somebody waiting in the wings to do a podcast. So I have to cut this short in the next couple of minutes. So Ryan Demetz, thank you so much for coming on and being our unintentional special guest there in the shadows of South Africa.
It's always a pleasure. It's been a good conversation. It was lovely to see. I'll show my face. It's been lovely to see yourself and Sandy. I don't even have my lighting. My lighting is all over the place.
No, it's fine. The way you had it before, it's like, we are not going to show you Ryan. We want ransom.
No.
He was good. No, send the money.
Okay, I could get like a newspaper and show today's newspaper.
So he has the correct date.
I'm alive. They didn't kidnap me.
Well, do virtual
it's been lovely to see you guys.
Do virtual backgrounds work with that background that you have, or does it need to be a difference in terms of where you are versus the background?
No, it'll work. Hold on, I'm just on the wrong side. This is my Africa one.
Hey, there you go. Now you're on the safari.
This one, or if you're a YouTuber, you know what this one is.
Actually, that one works better with your lighting. So it actually looks like you're kind of hanging out.
Sorry, I need to move my, I've got Zoom on the wrong screen. So I can now look forward. No, but there's loads of, what are the other ones I've got? There was one I found. Oh, it's on the screen now. Look at this one. The dog. This one. Look at Sandy.
Ryan, will you pay attention to your dog? I mean, it really wants to go out. Can you just
let
it go?
like
Look at this is the closest I can come to looking as swagger as Sandy. With her that's like such an Instagram background Like influencer, look at me, like looking like I'm working out of a jail cell.
No, it's fine. I mean, we all have our favorites. Like the one that it seems to work with people is the rainbow unicorn one I always spout, like this one. Or you got always the kitten, which is like the, you know, we can look in the same direction.
No,
Like
the other
that.
You can become the kitten.
Yes.
Yeah, it can
There's
become
also
the kitten.
bunnies.
way.
Then
You've been
there's-
in a lot of Zoom calls.
then
I
there's
used to have the
Instagram.
Snapchat camera on. Oh my goodness, you can turn into a sock or a
Oh,
potato.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hours
so
of
much
fun. Like
Yeah.
you
There you
rock up at like, we had a bunch of team calls, and yeah,
Yeah.
becomes interesting.
And then you lose like 5-10 minutes just playing around with that.
Yes, you become a yellow background. I've seen that.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Anyway,
We are good to go. Thanks again, Ryan. And take care of your dog, please, if you could.
I
when you
will
get a
do.
moment.
It's
And,
lovely to see and chat to you guys.
Yeah,
Have a
thank you.
lovely rest of your day or evening.
same to you. And
Thank
Sandy,
you.
as always, lovely to do the show with you since we're doing, oh, it's fine. Yes. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Always
No,
good.
no, for anybody that's watching this in the future on YouTube or perhaps is going to be watching this as a replay on Zoom, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week with Bortle, right?
Yeah.
We got Bortle
Yes,
coming up,
Bortle.
where we're going to be interviewing Jeremy. I want to say his name is Javain, Sylvia and Dor. Both of them are the co-founders of Bortle. We're going to be speaking to them about what they've done and where they plan on taking that resource that we seem to like a lot. So thanks for tuning in. Sandy, you enjoy the rest of your day. Ryan, take care.
Yes.
And thanks for watching. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.